Welcome to the professor's discussion for employee rewards topics. This contains selected reading from chapters 10 and 11. The topic of rewards is a combination of these two chapters and is focused on identifying the various categories that employees see in a given organization. Though the programs are likely built by the HR department, it's the line and department managers that execute and communicate rewards to many of their employees. Additionally, they can provide management and HR staff valuable insight on what types of rewards are relevant in their workforce. Employee compensation refers to all forms of pay or rewards going to employees, which can include direct financial payments and indirect financial payments. Direct financial payments are like you see here. It's your paycheck. It's your wage, your salary, your incentives, any commissions or bonuses that you see. Indirect payments include financial benefits like employer-paid insurance and vacation plans. The basic thrust in pay plans today is to produce an aligned reward strategy to create rewards that guide employee behaviors in the desired strategic direction. Distinguishing between high and low performers is a policy issue, as is seniority-based pay. Internal and external equity are crucial in pay rates. Equity theory is something that we learned about originally in Management 1010. There are 4 components of equity that we want to consider. First is external equity. This refers to how pay compares with rates in other organizations. We can maintain external equity through the use of salary surveys. Internal equity refers to employees viewing their pay as equitable given other pay rates in the organization. We ensure that the value of jobs are equitable through the process of job evaluation. Individual equity refers to the fairness of an individual's pay as compared to what his or her coworkers are earning for the same or very similar jobs in the company. This is done through the use of performance appraisal. And finally, procedural equity refers to the perceived fairness of the processes and procedures used to make decisions regarding the allocation of pay. Communication in our employee relations programs help in this area. Now, there are many laws that govern compensation. Many of them, such as Title VII, the Equal Pay Act, the Employees Retirement Income and Security Act, Family Medical Leave Act, Americans with Disabilities Act, along with others, have been covered earlier in class. But I want to bring up an additional law now, which is the Fair Labor Standards Act. This covers almost every U.S. worker and contains 3 major provisions. First is the provision of a minimum wage. It sets the floor for minimum wages and, in effect, becomes sort of a base for all wages that are set in the workplace. The second provision is for overtime pay. Employers must pay time worked at time and a half for anything worked over 40 hours. We establish which types of positions are exempt or not exempt from overtime provisions through an analysis that is guided by the provisions in the Fair Labor Standards Act. And then the third provision is rules on child labor. If the individual is under 16, there are very strict provisions, and if they are between 16 and 18, there are also many restrictions. In addition to the regulatory environment of employment law, unions and labor relations laws influence pay designs. The rulings of the National Labor Relations Act underscored the need for employers to involve union officials in the developing of compensation packages. Just as in many other areas of the organization, there are strategies how employees will be paid. First, we want to decide if pay should be based on seniority or performance. Second, we want to distinguish between high and low performers and that range that we need to distinguish. And then third, we want to account for geographic differences in the cost of living. In addition, or in place of pay rates, organizations also set practices on how they will reward individuals. One way to do this is through the use of individual incentives. There are several examples that you see here, such as piecework. This is where we literally pay somebody for the number of pieces that they have produced. Merit pay or pay raises are based on the performance of an employee. We might use non-financials such as social recognition in order to incentivize individuals to continue to perform. We may use things like commission and bonuses, which are not additions to the base pay, in order to reward employees for their individual performance. Now, in addition to pay, we talked about benefits being indirect payments, and in many instances, they are just as important as the paycheck itself. We can break down benefits into the 4 categories that you see here. And as you'll see in a minute, there are some benefits that are mandated by regulation and others that employers choose to offer to their employees. The category is for pay for time not worked. All employers through a state program must provide unemployment benefits in case an employee is laid off or terminated for no reason. If an employer decides to offer things like vacation time, holiday pay, sick or parental leave, severance payment, or supplemental unemployment benefits, it is at their discretion. These are all categorized as pay benefits for time that we don't spend working. So that doesn't have anything to do with the actual amount of work that we put into our job. This is in lieu of when we would be in the workforce. The second category is insurance. There are many non-financial payments that provide value, and insurance is one of them. Insurance provides a protection against a risk of loss of income. If we are hurt on the job, employers are mandated to provide workers' compensation insurance. Most workers also provide some sort of health and medical insurance, disability, or life insurance, which again protects us from the risk of not being able to generate earnings because of a health risk or an injury. The third category of benefits are retirement benefits. These are benefits that we accumulate as employees throughout our lifetime with our employer, which help fund our living after we're done contributing to the workforce. The first type of retirement benefit, Social Security, that you see here is mandated by the federal government. Pensions or 401k plans are not mandated, but are also very popular ways in which employees save for their future retirement expenses. The fourth category of benefits that you see here are services and work-life benefits. None of these benefits are mandated by the government, but are also very popular. The first is employee assistance programs. These are assistance programs that help many of our employees figure out the big decisions in life, such as investment options, sick parent or sick child issues. We also might have subsidized childcare for our employees who require childcare in order to participate in the workforce. And many employers are starting to provide, in advance of any legislation, domestic partner benefits. The main point with benefits is that it's very hard to satisfy all of our different work groups with one plan. So flexibility is the name of the game. Flexible benefit plans are called cafeteria plans, and it's like it sounds. A cafeteria plan is where you choose your benefit. So there's usually some sort of dollar amount that is given to you, and you can choose the types of benefits that best suit you. That way, if we have workers that are 25, 45, or 65 years old, we can help them attain and meet all of the needs that they have in addition to their pay. Meeting employee-specific needs goes a long way to creating an engaged workforce.